roll call, so make sure everybody home knows that we'll start over here and then finish with you guys. Do a quick intro.
Andy Nichols, School Board.
You good to go?
Good.
Okay.
Russ Holden, Superintendent.
Jesse Tyler, School Board.
Kelly Russell is Business Administrator.
Matt Moranis, Facility Director.
Sean Moynihan, Principal, Southern Middle High School.
Jody Bergen, Principal, Seneca Central Elementary School.
Gordon Bristol, Honors Rep.
Ingrid Nichols with Banwell Architects.
Brad Prescott, Project Manager, Banwell Architects.
Great.
And our guest is
John Augustine.
welcome.
Member of the club.
Welcome.
All right, so for our June 12th meeting that we're starting at 6 o'clock, we're not usually too formal on calling the beginning and ending, but just a good habit, 6 o'clock, June 12th. The corporate capital improvement committee meeting, our budget, I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Our agenda is a timeline for the project development, building aid paperwork submission, upcoming meetings, community forums, other business or issues needed to be addressed, and then just discussion as it unfolds. Any questions or comments out of the gate? Quiet start. So we want to take a look at the subcommittee spring timeline, which is the piece with this. So we have moved ourselves down to 5 up from the bottom. We're at the June 12th meeting. So we have had a lot of activity to get to this point. So we're excited to have the full crew together for the first time. Do you want to make any comments around timeline going forward?
Sure. One of the things I think that's important, looking at the proposed timeline that Banwell gave to us, which is great. It's there on the side there.
Right.
It talked about specifically some commitments in July and August, and I thought it would be good to get some clarification on what those look like moving forward. And then also just asking your advice as, based upon what you see in front of you, we talked about the 18th coming up, we talked about the 27th. Is there anything else prior to that that we should be looking to put in?
At this point, no, since the 18th is next week.
Right.
Yeah, let's put something else in between now and then.
So we're already rolling full speed, which is great, and thank you for that. And I guess we could talk offline about how you want to structure the staff. I know it's from 8 to 8:30.
Right, so I was going to talk about that and what that looks like.
Okay. But anything before that, we will digest what's in that box. So that will take us a good week to do that.
Yep.
And really, to prep for that, we kind of need to know what this group has established as any sort of preconceived program of what your needs are. So, or are we starting from scratch and kind of opening this up again? And I know the high school, junior, senior, middle, is it middle?
It's a middle
senior.
high school.
Middle high school?
Middle high school.
Okay. I know this is adding to the mix, so I don't know if you've gone through that process of doing a program of spaces of what your needs are, but that's something we like to start as kind of our foundation and our baseline before we even start looking at plans or land or anything else, so that we all agree on what those pieces are. And has the elementary school done one, or is that something we should look at again?
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, with the previous firm, I spent a day with them over the summer just kind of walking through what we had and what kind of our needs and wish lists were. And that's reflected in the previous plan.
Okay.
That was interesting, because we've been reviewing the documents that we had available, and that was the one gap was between the educational assessment and the plan. It was clearly a document between, which itemized the need. So we'd love to have that. And
We don't, do we have that?
It's in the box.
Okay. I don't have it. I don't.
Okay.
And is there, just for reference, to cross-reference things, not that we're going to grasp onto that plan, that's sort of past information, but
Right.
one that we can read that remains to correspond with the program would be good. I don't know if you've got one. The one digitally is very easy. So.
Matt, you probably have something to do with something that articulates the room. We know we have rooms and numbers for our 911 system, but does that articulate the grade level, the indoor program?
Yes,
Do you have that for both schools?
I think so.
Well, you gave us great plans for the existing schools.
Okay.
But the
Proposed.
failed
Oh,
proposed design.
oh, yes.
That embodies the program that you work for.
We
you know,
have
it's
that.
just having that legible.
What we did is we took those off so that people wouldn't get attached to a space.
Yeah, sure.
So I think I have the original, we can get that to you.
Wonderful.
So it sounds like, after the staff meetings on the 18th, we may need to spend another day with you, Sean, just to kind of get up to speed on what that program is, and then bring it back to this group for review.
Yeah, there's a lot of history with the prior plan, so at some point we'll just be talking about what we're gonna do going forward, but there was, getting that clean slate, fresh view, and moving forward, I think is critical. It'll also help us convey, this to the community as well more effectively. So we have all of it, but we wanna make sure you have the time, you know, a tight schedule, I'm not sure where that time is, but it'd be really nice to have you go through that with fresh eyes.
Sure.
You know, beyond the box.
So to give them an example of what you're gonna be looking for is, like, you may have a half-a-day kindergarten program now that you wanna become all-day, or you may have a preschool that people have wanted you to do and you don't have it, that kind of thing.
Right.
Or any special
Right.
education needs that are not being
Is,
fulfilled.
right.
I mean,
Because Jody,
anything.
didn't we, when we had that meeting, what was it, about a month ago with Amanda, isn't preschool way up this year?
Preschool is way up. So that's an expanding program.
Right.
We have our new autism program that was new this year is an expanding program.
So I mean, that's very, I would think, very important for your team to know
Yeah.
where our numbers are in the lower grades right now, because it
Mhm.
seems to be fairly high already this year with kindergarten and preschool.
Yes, so
Yeah.
our kindergarten enrollment is definitely up for next year, our preschool enrollment is up. We have about 13 new students
Yeah.
next year, so.
We can get, we have, I believe Amanda just picked up 0 to 3 or 2 and 3-year-old birth that we know of in town.
Yeah, she
So we
has-
have-
she
we
has
have those
the
numbers, we
0
can do
to-
that, and also the thought of universal preschool.
And in the middle and high school, you wanna be thinking about, is there a STEM program, or what is there out there that you don't have? Or chemistry, what is it that's?
I mean, realistically, one of those things, from an educational piece, I feel we're in pretty good shape. You know, the areas that really do come up are the fields, and within that, performing arts.
Yeah.
But realistically,
Those are the two spaces. that
Those are the two.
You're, you know, plus some infrastructure issues that we have.
Correct,
that
some
would be
infrastructure which, yeah.
Very helpful for Matt to go over with you guys.
One minor issue though is to keep this, or to get the spaces, we have taken away some significant storage in the past few years, which has impacted everybody lightly across the board.
Is that in both schools?
There is no storage
is
in the
not
other
existent
school.
in elementary school. But yeah.
but the academic spaces here are
Good.
well, yeah.
This is what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're giving us the magic box of all.
There's a lot of history.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. What we have is, it's sort of a large list of, it's sort of everything that we can think of that we would possibly need or would be helpful to any assessment. So maybe that's something you can peruse after the meeting and gather together. If you know you have it, but it's not in the box, that will help us move forward with building assessments.
Yeah.
It's all,
Yep.
I can double check a couple things, but should call it something better than the box, the history packet.
Well, this was all
Time capsule.
common
Volumes.
information, it's all electric bills, you know, state reports, inspections.
Yeah.
We have all that. We can get that to you.
Perfect.
Quickly.
So back to timeline. So you're leaving with the kit. We're gonna fill in anything. We have all of that, and if not, we'll get it to you expeditiously. Other thoughts on the timeline as we look towards the 18th? You wanna go back to what that would potentially look like with the staff?
So yeah, I was gonna hit that under number 3, but we can absolutely take that up. Because my 2 questions for the meetings coming up, how would you like me to have our staff prepared to give input? What does that look, is there a specific question I should be asking them? Because we've heard people are coming with, you know, full-blown plans ready to, here you go, this is what we want. You know.
I think that will be fabulous. They should come with whatever ideas and thoughts, no matter how simple or grandiose, so that we can hear from them and get the entire want and wish list, and then we bring that back to this group to weed through all of that to figure out what we want to actually put in the plan.
Yeah.
So I think outside the box, what works well in your spaces, what does not work well in your spaces, what do you wish you would have, what would increase your program efficiency, what facility downfalls do they have, is it acoustics, is it bad carpeting, any comments that they have. And if they aren't comfortable speaking in front of the group, some can be bullying at times, they can write it down and hand it to us. So, however they want to communicate that best.
And I'm sure you're already planning on this, but just to get it out there, it's always helpful to have someone from this team in the room as a consistent
Gatekeeper.
member and a gatekeeper. When we get offline, there's always something between the lines that we get that doesn't necessarily come out in the actual written text or notes. So having that person from this group, usually it's the principal, but I mean, it's your choice who that would be.
We're all pretty available that day, so Sean, I'm sure will be up here, Jordan will be out there, and I'll just float between them both. And I think, Gordon, you were gonna try to be here as well, weren't you?
We'll see, I've got to check.
You might have a Tuesday thing.
So I think no idea is a dumb idea.
Okay.
And we're there to hear and listen before they go away, and then we'll be back in front of them when they come back in the fall as well.
Right.
Good, that's why I'll be able to send out an email to them tomorrow. Thank you. And then, just staying on the forum, what does that look like? What's the committee's role? What's your role? How do you see that unfolding?
We've done it many different ways. How do you think this community would bear the best? Do you want to lead it and have us there participating? And normally we like to have 8 to 10 questions that we ask, and then have another, so it gets a conversation going. We can lead it if you want.
Yeah, I'll speak first. I think you leading it with a clear teaching element to start, just so that they can get a feel for you and for the team, and understand your experience with Claremont, Lebanon, Grantham,
local areas.
all of
Okay.
those things.
Yeah.
So Wyndham is very relevant. It's 45 minutes away and a $35 million project. But I think giving a little bit of a background of these are some of the projects that we've worked on, just a level set. This is who we are, and then this is where we are with the issues of the school and the population, and looking back, looking forward. I think that would be really helpful to have.
To set the stage.
To set the stage so that everybody hears a consistent message and understands the resources it's coming from, and the history behind it, and and the facts behind it. I think that would be, people would be very appreciative of having that level set.
Okay.
And then by the time you get to the questions, it will not be a problem to have lots of feedback. I think we've got some pretty great discussion and ideas from community members. There's a lot of interest in the forum, so I'm expecting, even though these often aren't that well attended for proportionate to our community, I think it's going to be confident to be well attended.
Are we gonna do that at the elementary school?
Doing it here in the music room, in case we have enough people, we can go to the gym.
Yeah.
Just because we won't comfortably get anywhere at the elementary school.
It'd be good to have it in the elementary school, but if we have as many people show up as we think, it could, well, I mean, and if we're looking for your advice on what's most effective, I think having them there is good, but if we have 75 people show up, it's gonna be hot
And I
and
think
miserable.
it is both schools, so to do it here and then maybe have the next one in the elementary school, yeah.
Yeah, I think just for their comfort and the potential that we could have, we would have the gym as a backup if we had more than 30 people come.
We've also done a school tour prior to community meeting, if that's something you do, usually it's an SAU member will actually host a walkthrough right before the meeting of the elementary school and or the high school, just so people have things, the conditions of what's going on fresh in their minds for the actual meeting. It's just an option.
Or we could have a photo board for this preliminary one, it just depends on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because we've done a few of them once. We spent a Saturday, Jody and I and Matt, we had one visitor, and then the last one was a little better attended.
Yeah, the evening one that we did,
20 people maybe?
yeah, maybe 20 to 30, I think
Yeah.
it was.
So I think people have gotten a look in the schools, but I also think that's something that we could facilitate again once we get pick up the conversation.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do you invite the local press too?
So I was just gonna let you know that we've invited all the town officials, the abutters, any of the specific community members who have been involved in either projects or community members that have some sort of influential activities within the community itself, and then people that were on the former facility committee improvement projects.
Okay.
We've invited them as well, personal invitations to them. We'll have signage going up. We have it in the local paper, those shopper, it'll go on our signs, our police signs down by the dump. So we have the word getting out that way as well.
Do reporters come? You know, can we
We
reach
can-
out to a
We can
specific
definitely invite them
reporter?
specifically.
Yeah,
Not
I
the one the
mentioned
other
it
night.
to Manette,
And the other-
from the Intertown.
The Eagle, we got
And
that
then
the other
Eagle.
night.
Yeah, but we,
Chimo.
Thank you.
yeah, we should,
We'll give
even
an
the Valley
invitation.
News would find it interesting. They certainly covered the Lebanon Middle School.
They did, and Stevens.
And it reaches some of our population. They'll sell out quickly on a Sunday at the local store.
So that will be a rest.
Take care of it.
And you mentioned also the website. Now, is this the school website, or have we started the new website?
So, based upon what we're doing with our website, fitting in with ADA compliance issues, we felt that we should house the new project site within our website to make sure we're ADA compliant. So we have a whole bulleted, right on the top page, there's a whole banner goes on there. It talks about the community project. There's a tab that specifically talks about our CIP facility,
Yep.
and it's already been loaded with our minutes from April moving forward.
I'd like to show that at the forum, just to take a minute. Or John Reed, our.
If we could get John Reed there, he could
Just
probably
to
do it
sh-
some justice.
It's a huge upgrade, a significant
Oh,
upgrade. It's much easier to use.
yeah.
It's more intuitive. He's already got a project site, even in a test. So I think if we could just have a few minutes so people, when they leave, they know.
Could see where to get updates.
They don't have to wonder where to go. We can remove that. And then there's also gonna be the phone.
We'll have an email blast
That'll
out
come.
to our parents and our parents, our kids, and all our teachers.
Yeah, but I wanna be able to show anybody that comes and invests that evening, they can feel really comfortable. We have a brand new site. It's 2 clicks to get to the project. This is where stuff's gonna be. So I wanna be able to show them so they don't ever have to wonder, and then hopefully get them to show some of their friends.
Their neighbors.
But it's a beautiful site. It's a big improvement.
Huge. And then for the three of us, that everything we do has to go through that. That's the one common voice. We're not out there sending anything in the way.
So anything that you would like to share with us, we'll put it there.
And
You
I think
wanna-
meeting notes are.
Right, so we'll
All of
take
it.
meeting notes, we'll
Yeah,
take your meeting
exactly.
notes, our video
As we go.
tapes.
Keep
Yeah,
it.
well, we invited 4, we had 3 community members during the interview process. We wanna, encourage, there's different groups that wanna just talk amongst themselves to bring the ideas, or however that unfolds with momentum. But anything that we wanna, record the meetings, the little push notification on other meetings that people wanna attend, like we've got 3 of the public tonight. But we wanna have it single source, single truth, totally transparent.
Okay, so between now and maybe next week when we meet with the staff, we can develop a list of draft questions and share it with you.
That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, we want your advice. The combination of both of you have built or remodeled an awful lot of schools. So, we wanna leverage what you feel is the best as we get a feel for our community. You know, this is our first meeting. Gordon's had a little bit of a running start to get his bearings.
I'm getting there, yeah, finally.
We hired you to help us be the best we can for the community, figure this out, so we want you to be forward with what you think are the best questions.
This may be a little bit too nuanced, but you let us know how you feel about it. it's always good to have someone from the committee be the sort of MC of the meeting, sort of to keep it in structure. And then we can jump in and do our piece of it, and then you can maybe
Yeah.
come back in for the website
Yep.
thing, and it reinforces the concept that this is your community, your school.
No, I
We're not
agree.
the outsiders just ramming things through, you know, and, because we
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
want to
Yeah.
take on that
Yeah,
perception.
Andy and I would MC and do the part that we
Mhm.
are to do and pull Russ and Kelly and Matt in where they're supposed to be.
Perfect.
We say when you run it, it's really level setting with the experience that you have. These are the facts we have before us, and doing that part we want you to own because that's your expertise.
Great.
The rest of it, we will MC, or in collection, we will be there to, we own the meeting, but you need to own the part that you're hired
Yeah.
for.
Nice.
Is that better clarity?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do what you're good at, we'll do what we're good at.
And I think this first meeting, it's very important for the messaging for what it is. It's really a brainstorming session for us to listen to the community. So it's really their participation. We are not really presenting anything other than setting the stage, telling them who
Right.
we are and asking them some questions. And that's really why we try to cull it out, and once we get people talking, but if we can set that messaging out so that people's expectations are known, so they come prepared to the meeting, already have thought about certain
Right, they're
things.
not gonna see a brand new set of blueprints. at the
Exactly.
meeting.
Yeah, we're talking about it as bring your ideas. This is,
Yep.
we wanna
Right.
hear any idea.
Yes.
Good, bad,
Any
or
variation of
different.
an old
Right.
idea, we're looking to get everything on the table so that we can start to wade through it.
Right.
And that's at least several dozen people I've talked to, I know you've talked to a similar amount.
Yep.
It's going over well, like, okay, we can come in, understand the landscape, and then say, this is what I think we should do and why. And I don't think anyone's expecting you, a few people have had that curiosity, well, what's the plan gonna be? I'm like, well, we don't have a plan. We don't even have a plan among us. We have different thoughts of what we think could work and why. So it's not like we have something, the committee has something, and then you have to guide everyone to it, or you have to guess what we're up to. We really are open to whatever is gonna be the best
That's
fit.
for the town.
But having the fresh
Schools.
perspective with code, compliance, classroom size, and all of those things that you both bring is gonna change the conversation.
Perfect.
I know one thing that's gonna be a hot subject is classroom size for the amount of kids that we have. So I would just be prepared that that's probably gonna get brought up, and that, you know, some background knowledge of what we're up against is gonna be good, you know?
Right.
And very insightful, I'm sure, at the meeting.
Yeah, I'd like you to bring up classroom size.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
one of the good ones.
Even better.
Yeah.
The student population, the learning needs, and what space is needed with autism program that's growing, with a preschool program that's growing, with those other things. This is the kind of space that's needed, and hitting right on the classrooms.
We wanna make sure that you have those numbers from Jody or Russ on what the current status is of those two. Yeah, okay.
Just as a quick aside, how many students in your autism program?
4.
Good. That's a handful, but 4 is good. 4 is good.
Yeah.
That's a good start. Good.
Do you have the, I need the numbers for the classroom sizes right now. No, I don't need them right now.
Like, wow, that's aggressive.
I don't need them right now, but I need numbers for what, the square footage of the classrooms as they exist.
Okay.
Well, we've got all that in the 2017 report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we
Okay.
can, maybe Matt, we can get it for.
No, I mean, just tell me where to find it. I know that it's,
Yeah.
He's got a list of them.
Yeah.
Because he's sent them.
Yeah, you sent them to me earlier this year.
So I think that's an important piece, that when we're doing this quick review or review between the 18th and the 27th, that the pieces that come up, anybody needs, we probably have them. If they're not in that box, I would have them, Jody may have a piece, Matt may have a piece, Kelly may have a piece. Just let us know, and we've tried to provide you with everything, but
And
there's
this-
there's a lot of everything.
This forum too is the start of many. So you know, a lot of people think we have to have it perfect, and it's really a start of a whole conversation we're gonna have for the next 8 to 10 months.
Right.
So, if we don't know an answer, or if we can't, okay, great point, we'll take it down, we'll get back to you. You know, it's, and some communities are afraid of, you know, tripping up or making a mistake or saying the wrong thing. This is really about opening that whole conversation up and learning and seeing what we don't know, because we really need to collect a lot of different information in order to get to that end result.
Yeah, and so Andy and I will kick it off, you know, for this first one, and also to restate, this is the first one. This is not the forum, this is the first of what's gonna be a community conversation for most of a year. And frame that so that you can reinforce it, because I think that's something I've heard is that, well, I can't make it to the 27th, I'm gonna miss it. Like, no, I actually got some questions today from somebody who can't go that I can bring. But it's okay, we're gonna record it, we're gonna have the notes, and then there's gonna be another one. It'll shift in the fall to be farther down the path towards a solution, but I think that's gonna help a lot of people as well, that this is one stop on the path. We'll absolutely set that up for you guys.
It's also, you know, in that vein, it's important, excuse me, when we talk about student population learning special needs, and this is just what we perceive today. You know, we're not walking in and saying, right, this is all the end-all be-all facts, you know, and just ramming it down everybody's. This is an evolutionary process that we go through, you know, a discovery. So we're at an early stage of discovery. We're not going to have everything we'll say as much in the forum. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, even with the perception, or just the ability to truly understand the lack of space and storage, is with those 20 or 30 people that came, it was in the evening, and the buildings are kept meticulously clean. And there were no kids and all their coats and all their crap everywhere. So it painted a different picture. And when you're in there during the day, you see under the stairwell, you know, the preschool with the heating vents along the wall, things like that. It's a very different story. So however we are able to reinforce it, there's a video from a year and a half ago, that was pretty effective. So whether that's still effective or we have to make a new one, when the kids and staff are in there, it's pretty different than what it looks like when we're over in the evening. So with all of these things discussed so far, we've got the 18th is still looking good for meeting with the staff. And then the next one that we have is we would be together at the forum. So do you need time with us before the forum, after tonight?
I think we just need to agree on the questions we're gonna ask. I think
Yeah.
we've talked about the process. I don't think we'll do any sort of PowerPoint.
Unless we're
Maybe
gonna
we'll
show
have the
photos.
questions on the PowerPoint, you know, so that they're there. And usually we come with these big marker areas, so when people ask, you know, say questions or ideas, we do them on a sticky and put them up, and we have different,
Right.
so that we can keep track of it. So we'll bring all of that. It's just really agreeing on the question, so maybe that's an emailable.
Do that email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do some time.
Yeah.
Then just we have 2 more points on the current draft before we start to build it out a little bit. We want to have as many fingerprints from the community as possible and voices heard, so that's something that we'll be working on the first. And then want to look to you, and I know you have it in the Gantt chart, but really what are those key milestones through the summer? So there's going to be a deluge naturally in the next week or two as you digest the kit, talk to the staff.
Right.
That gives you a level set. Then you're going to hear from the community. So you guys have those main pillars.
Exactly.
What do you need from us so we can make sure you're resourced through the summer while you're doing your work?
Basically, I think we'll have to have another session with you, with the engineers and the civil engineer. And then, depending upon what comes up at the public forum, we may need more site plans of land. I know we have general plans of, you know, your property lines, but when I hear fields, we need to figure out every single different area around town, and I heard on our walkthrough too, maybe we're talking with a town on town field, so how does that fit in? So I could see, you know, starting to work now to try to figure out what land is available, or, you know, what is flat enough here for fields, because fields take up quite a bit of space. So.
Yeah, we have some, took a pretty good look at doing field stuff out here, so I had a bunch of stuff I haven't honestly looked at, but there's a giant pile of stuff.
And maybe we have a site walk of walking your property boundary here, so we can understand that. Hazmat is another kind of biggie. I mean, this school shouldn't have it, but the elementary school, did you do any sort of hazmat survey on knowing what you have?
Asbestos?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Because that can be a small amount, or it could be several $100,000. So in terms of starting to try to figure that out, if you haven't gotten that.
Did we ever do an abatement study on that?
No, no.
Everything that's accessible has been cleared, but
That's not
it's a
accessible.
100-year-old building, at some point, might want to open the walls and look at some of the old plumbing and stuff like that.
Well,
So
do you have, there's a report, that now that you've touched it, and not all schools have it, so if you don't have it, fine, but you should have an annual report or an every other year report following up on that you file.
Yes, yeah, every 3 years.
Okay, so that would have the backup report, what the actual originally said that you had for, correct me if I'm wrong, right? In other words, there's a report that exists then for your building that you're working off of, I think. And if not, then now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just what, I think he's right, you know, there are gonna be concealed conditions, they won't know, well, let's get on the table everything we do.
So we should see if you have that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have as-built on that from, when was that?
The elementary school.
No, but it got remodeled in what, 80s?
56?
I have absolutely nothing for the elementary school. I talked to Bill Royce, and he's never seen anything since we've been here.
43. And we switched out 43, we get it.
Okay. Okay.
No town records.
Well, it was a different SAU.
It was a different SAU at the time.
Oh.
So that's, we didn't get the archives, I guess.
Yeah, we tried. From
Yeah.
my understanding, we tried.
Yeah.
But some things we got, a lot of things we did
Some
not
stuff
get.
on the elevator from like the mid-80s, but nothing like the main.
Because they went through and
building.
covered a whole bunch of stuff up in the 80s, basically, is what happened, if I remember right. You know, a lot of light gauge metal framing went in and drywall, and, you know, they dressed it all up.
And that's just the elevator addition, though, luckily, but.
Well, no, they did a lot of work inside. They reframed some walls and, you know.
Oh, when they did the elevator addition?
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
it was in the 80s. They went through and dressed it up.
Yeah.
You know, shimmed things out, made them straight again.
Hmm.
But it was a pretty extensive project at the time, if I remember right. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, sounds about right with some of the stuff we did in the main office last year. You could tell there were some layers of things over.
Right.
Layers and layers over.
Mhm. So we may be in for some surprises, is what I'm getting at.
Luckily, we didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a small project. We didn't run into any surprises there, and we did open up some walls, so
Okay.
that
Yeah.
makes me slightly optimistic.
Right.
That's the other section of the building.
Could be,
Yeah. Yeah.
So Matt, you have those reports and we can.
Great. And then really it's really working on these programs. There's written lists of your needs, and what we hear from the staff, so we add those pieces, and then what we hear from the public forum, and we add those pieces and talk about what we're going to try to incorporate as our base bid, if you will, versus nice to haves. So really that's kind of our work over the summer in conjunction with the engineers doing their thing.
So when do you need this group again to start saving some dates?
Yeah, I would think probably this is probably the week after the 4th of July.
Matt, you sent me quite a load of information on site plans and.
That was mostly for this building though.
Yeah, it had the SAU, I believe, hooked to it, if I remember right, because the field was part of that.
Yeah, actually the town's website, that tri-town thing they have there, that's where I pulled that from.
That's where you pulled that from? Yeah.
And that's actually a really handy tool.
Yeah.
Getting to look pretty close at everything.
Yeah.
There is some information, like if you actually go onto that website, there's more than what was just that plan. You can click on the specific plot, and there's some other information that I haven't downloaded.
Okay.
So you're saying this group, the week of the 8th to 12th, somewhere in there, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
How about Wednesday, 6 PM on the double wides?
Sure.
It will be, a national certification, but you guys can still run without
Yeah,
that.
okay. Fine.
So on the page.
Can everybody else make it? We're down one.
You said the 10th, right?
July 10th, 6 PM, CS.
You're gone that whole week, right? Yeah, so let's keep the train rolling.
Yeah.
10th.
Okay.
And where is that?
At the
Double
elementary
wide.
school,
Yeah.
and we'll do it in the
In the modular
Gotcha.
classroom.
All right, so we got one on the books, so then,
But for that one, is there anything that you wanna see from us? Or a little more information on that you can think of right now?
We're gonna be working behind the scenes with the principals, and then with Matt, with the engineers, and then Russ.
Okay.
So if there is, we'll email it, but
Okay.
it really depends on these next two meetings.
Actually, that brings up a great point, you know, a contact list for everybody would be good.
yep.
If you could email us that would be helpful.
But our protocol is to really only email these two.
Right.
Yeah, that's just, because it turns into strings.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they're-
Reply to all.
Yep, we try to keep it nice and tidy and
Thank you.
organized, so
Thank
it's
you.
Great.
it's better for us too.
But if we're coordinating with Matt or principals, it's just good to have the contact info.
Yeah, you go to who you need, so you keep, we
And
don't
we'll
slow you
always
down.
copy these guys.
But always these two,
Okay.
and then they can disseminate it, and then we don't get caught in
Perfect.
the sort of the workplace catch-up strings, where someone's
Right.
asking questions that have been already answered, and let's not do that to each other.
Okay.
All right, so July 10th, and then looking out from there, maybe you could just, I just, you're heading into summer, we can always adjust.
Yep.
But I'd love to have placeholders so people
Sure.
can count on them, and then we can also communicate up to folks who
So
aren't coming.
July 10th, that's really, I'm hoping to have a program set by that date.
Yep.
Do you need to run the program and get it blessed by the school board itself at all? Or is that something?
I don't think so. I think that, so for us, for school board availability, so you know what we have, and then we work backwards. 8/22 is our, yeah, 8/21. Sorry, that was close.
Yeah, August 21 school board.
Is, Wednesday the
first school board.
21st is our next school board meeting,
Okay,
because we don't
okay.
meet in
Yep.
July, the holiday. So, no, I think that we have the right, the principals and the superintendent involved, and full support for the board to do what the subcommittee is supposed to do, so we can go into that more deeply at the school board meeting.
Okay.
But we should absolutely
Yeah,
proceed.
we can move
Second
forward.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So I would say at the 10th, if we have our approved program, then we're gonna need some time to develop the different options. So 1, 2, 3 weeks, would you think? So July
Yeah.
31st
Sounds good.
would be the next one. 1, 2, 3 weeks from that is the 21st. Do we want to have a meeting before the school board and then update school board at the same, or is it too much, or?
I think that would be good.
To, which one?
Have a meeting before.
Yes.
And then be able to update the school board.
I
Same
second
day.
that motion,
You can
yeah.
do the
Okay.
So
The
you wanna
school
do
board's at
Sunday?
what time?
You could do it before the school board on the same day, you know, depending on what you guys have for
As long as you guys
availability.
can be 4 o'clock.
On
Can
the
you-
31st?
can
No,
you
I'm sorry.
guys- No, on the 21st, can you guys do 4 o'clock?
Yes.
As long as I put it in now, I should be
here.
It's here.
No, it's not. It's actually elementary school, because August is here, right?
That
It
is
is August,
August.
right? All right, it's here.
Well, we can make it at the elementary, because then we could also do the tour. So 4 o'clock, we'll meet with you, 6 o'clock, we'll do the school board and update the board.
And then I think in September, when the staff, faculty get back, we want to kind of show them what we've come up with.
Yep.
So I don't know if you have any teacher days scheduled yet for that.
So our teacher days are the 20th, 21st, and, excuse me, the 21, 22, 23, is that right, Jody? Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yes.
Thursday, right? So 20, 21, 22 are our teacher PD days in August.
Okay.
Here in August.
Oh. So,
Well, if we go to the school board the 21st,
Right.
why not the 22nd?
We
come
can.
to the teachers, so
Yeah.
they'll feel like they got
exactly.
treated
Go right in.
well.
I'm not available that day, but Jeremiah and Brad can be there.
Sure.
So the 22nd is a teacher. And you'll just give us an hour slot.
Sure.
Plus, I guess, whatever you choose.
Okay.
All right, so just so it doesn't get lost in the discussion, I had 7/10, we're gonna be at July 10th, and then you had mentioned the 31st.
Mhm.
Same, where do we wanna do that? So we're all synchronized, get our watches synchronized.
Vacation. You on that, or you live with them?
I'm back.
You're back.
I'm going.
Kelly, you're gone?
Mind if we go without you?
Keep the trend moving.
Yeah, we're gonna keep, so let's go with the 31st, and then,
Where?
let's do the library of the elementary school. All right, so 7/10, 7/31, and then 8/21 before the school board meeting,
And then August 22nd, teachers.
and then August 22nd is teachers.
Betty, would you rather do a morning?
Whatever is convenient for them.
You wanna do an 8, get it out of the way, so you guys
Yeah,
have
I
more time?
prefer to have it either, have it done first thing.
Probably better
Okay.
first.
8 a.m.
They're gonna be curious. All right, that gets us out to, through sharing with the teacher. Do you wanna try to have the next public forum, or is this too far out in the future?
We can pencil it in?
Yeah, save the date.
Yeah. So,
You would have a school board meeting on September 4th, regular scheduled meeting on the 4th. You could go the 11th if you wanted to stay consistent with Wednesdays.
that works?
It's a public forum on the 11th.
Let's do at least to save,
See the date? Jody, you have something?
It conflicts with PTO.
And it is 9/11, which,
yeah, let's not do.
Yeah.
You can go
That
eight-
just
just-
registered
You
as
can
well.
go 18, or you can go a different day that week.
How about the 12th, Thursday? Does that work?
There you go.
Does that fit better for you guys, to the best of your knowledge?
No, back to school night's probably done by then, Sean. If not, try to stay away from it.
September 12th, you want,
Yeah, I mean, I can stay away from that day. That's a good thing about putting it in. I can stay away.
I like
Yeah.
the idea of having a different night. If somebody works Wednesday nights,
Sure.
and we've had 3 Wednesday night meetings, and they can't come.
Right.
Good.
Yep. All right, so we'll do a save the date
On the 12th.
and that really coincides with our entire options development. So we'll have however many options
At that time.
at that time to review with the public.
Great.
Where do we wanna do that one?
Big crowd.
I'd like to try for the gym.
The Sherb or this gym?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let's do the shirt.
Yeah.
I would just hold off because of volleyball. You don't know what the volleyball schedule looks
Oh, okay.
like.
All right.
Right.
The old barn. I'm gonna try and have it in this, depending on what we're getting, the music room, so everyone's comfortable.
Yeah.
You can be
Right.
up on stage. So if we get, I'd love to have it in the library, but I think I'd be a little surprised if we didn't overstuff it, and then people aren't gonna be able to pay attention comfortably.
Sure.
So I'd say here, and then if we need to go to the gym, that's cool. I won't be surprised if we need the gym.
We'll do the 22nd here as well, I think.
Yeah.
This will come.
One meeting, get it over with, yeah. No, it's getting it.
We get it, we do.
What, on the 12th, what time? September 12th?
22nd was your
6
school.
PM, yeah. 6 PM?
Yep, 6 PM here on the 12th. Save the date, we can add that.
Did we get a time on the 31st? Are we doing that at 6 as well?
6 seems to be reasonable.
6 is good.
Better
Yeah,
for you.
I can get, you and I can get in from work
Yeah.
safely.
Right.
By then. I guess, hopefully we'll give some of the families a chance to come. I sent somebody a note with a very young kid, said, little kids are welcome, but if the meetings are public, if that's what it takes for you to come, then coming, but, let's stick with 6, people can count on it too.
Okay.
Alright, so that gives us up to the next forum. It feels like we've just accomplished our first agenda item.
I'll send out invitations tomorrow, through email, so you can all put them on the calendar.
Okay, fantastic, alright. Love to save the dates, you can always move them, but you can't put them in late. Building aid, paperwork, and submission.
So question here, is always the great question. If I remember correctly, July 1 pre-application, September 1 full application.
Correct.
You can't be late because the federal grant, competitive, blah, blah, blah. There's no money available. Hasn't been, but we're still negotiating the budget moving forward for the next biennial. Obviously, a $50 million bargaining chip, inadequacy at $90 million. Who knows what's gonna fall out? Thoughts on,
I've talked with Amy Clark at the Department of Education, and their deadlines for pre-bond are so early, we typically don't know what we're doing.
exactly?
So I would suggest calling her, you know, especially after maybe the first public forum, to give her feedback on what we think we may, maybe some fields, maybe an addition reno, so that you can be covered in your application so it doesn't get kicked to the next year.
So, pre-application's a little easier.
Right.
You might need a little assistance
Oh,
with
yeah.
that.
Yes.
And full application is a lot more detailed, I
Right.
guess, right?
But we're gonna have our programs.
So you think we'll be okay
We're
about
going to
that
have our
September
ed
1?
specifications that we're gonna have to help you guys write, if you haven't written them already. So we can help with that.
Okay.
So it's really getting the easy one in for July 1, that's very, very,
Lights out.
So much in there.
so is that,
I'll take a,
You'll
what I'll do
follow?
is I'll download it again tomorrow, I have it on my computer. I'll go through it.
Yeah.
I'll ship a copy up to the two of you, and if there's holes in it, you can help me with that.
I think it's much easier to tell Amy in the more detailed description all the possible things that we're looking at, so that by the time we figure out in December what the, option is, you have it covered in your application. And you can strike out the things that we may or may not do.
so we go for the pre-July 1, and then we firm ourselves up to the next level by the September 1, okay.
So it sounds like we blanket it on the September 1, so we're covered.
We should have her in the dialogue of that conversation, so.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
She gave a nice presentation last year, wish more people had seen it.
Yeah.
She was very effective.
And we've had her come to some of our public forums to answer some of those questions on school funding or, kids per classroom or whatever it is, and she's been helpful there too, so she's willing to do that too.
Yeah, I could see her being really helpful for a lot of the community at the fall
Yeah.
forum, if we can have her come back. She was really good, very effective. Put that plug in here.
Yep.
Potential for the fall. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna hope that building funds are, how long has it been? 10 years?
About 10 years,
Going on 11.
yeah.
That,
Right.
that one, they're available, and two, that we get a big chunk of them. Do everything possible to make that happen. I went out of order because we already did number 3, upcoming meetings and community forums. Other business or issues needing to be addressed.
We don't have any.
Yeah, we covered a
kind of covered that as we went.
Yeah.
Going through it.
Good agenda, and then did things in a very different order, but we got to where we needed to
Right.
go. For the folks that are here, do you have any questions, John, or any of you have any questions before we wrap up?
I think the forum's the best part, the forum that you scheduled is the forum for that kind of thing. I don't
Yeah.
keep anybody here tonight.
Okay, just to
Thank you.
appreciate your engagement. Don, you're all set? Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Defer.
Okay, fantastic. So if everyone's all set, check the list, I'd say at 6:49, we'll bring this to a close, and we'll expect some email contact to make sure we're filling in any blanks that you have as you get through it.
Thank you.
We'll go forward from there.
Yes.
All right, good first meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.